under the relentless Arizona sun. A single act of compassion bound a cowboy and an Apache woman by an unbreakable tradition. The Arizona sun scorched the land, casting sharp shadows across the dusty trail. As Luke tilted his hat to block the glare, the old trading post sat quiet, the kind of stillness that made the desert feel like it was holding its breath. He tied his horse to the rail, its hide damp with sweat from a long ride. Luke wasn't after much, just a strong cup of coffee and a sack of feed before heading back on the trail. But as his boots creaked up the wooden steps, something on the porch stopped him cold. A little girl sat there, no more than 6. Her dress was frayed, faded by the desert sun, her bare feet caked in dirt. She sat so still, as if waiting for someone who might never come. Her tiny hands rested neatly in her lap. What caught Luke's heart, though, were her eyes, wide, dark, and hollow, the kind of eyes that spoke a hunger too deep and too often. Inside, the post smelled of coffee, leather, and dust. Luke ordered a plate of stew and bread to go, ignoring the wary glance from the old shopkeeper. When the food was ready, he carried it out and placed it gently in front of her. She blinked at the plate, then at him. Unsure at first, but hunger soon took over. She ate slowly, savoring every bite, her eyes never leaving his face. Luke leaned against the post, arms folded, trying to seem casual though his chest ached in ways he couldn't name. Minutes passed like that, until he felt it, the sharp, undeniable prickle of someone's eyes on him. He turned. A woman was walking toward them. She moved with the steady grace of someone who carried her strength like armor. Her long black hair was braided tight, her skin bronzed by the sun, her eyes dark and piercing, a mix of gratitude, pride, and warning. The few townsfolk lingering nearby turned to whisper, their curiosity sharp. Luke stayed where he was, hands loose at his sides, but tension coiled in him all the same. She stopped just a few feet away, close enough for him to see the fine line of dust across her cheekbones, the steady rise and fall of her chest. The little girl's face lit up at the sight of her mother. The woman's gaze swept from her daughter to Luke, unflinching, steady, and sharp. When she spoke, her voice was calm but carried a weight that silenced everything around them. "You fed my daughter," she said, her accent shaping the words but never softening their strength. Luke blinked, unsure how to answer. His hand drifted to the brim of his hat. He nodded, slow, respectful. She stepped closer, unreadable, though her eyes, those ancient, unyielding eyes, didn't waver. Then, with a solemn nod, she spoke again. Her voice rolled low, like distant thunder, carrying a meaning Luke couldn't yet grasp. "By our tradition," she said steadily, "I belong to you now." The world seemed to still. Luke froze. He'd come for coffee and feed, nothing more. But somehow, with one simple act of kindness, the desert had rewritten the course of his life. Luke wanted to tell her she owed him nothing, that a plate of stew wasn't worth the weight of her words. But something in her gaze stopped him, something ancient, binding, older than his world. The quiet stretched, heavy as the air before a storm. When Luke finally found his voice, it came out rough, hesitant. "Ma'am," he began, tipping his hat. "I didn't mean—" But she raised her hand, stopping him. There was no anger in her gesture, only quiet certainty. "Kindness," she said softly, "is never without meaning. In my people's way, you have claimed more than you know." A shiver ran through Luke's spine. Not fear, but a strange certainty that her words rang true. As the sun dipped low, painting the horizon in gold and crimson, the desert around them seemed to hum, as if it bore witness to a promise older than time itself. Days turned to weeks, and the bond between Luke, the woman, Nia, as he came to know her, and her daughter deepened. The little girl, once shy and quiet, began to follow him around the barn, her soft laughter echoing against the dusty walls. Nia spoke sparingly, her words careful and rich with meaning, teaching Luke about her people, their ways, and their unshakable belief in bonds formed by honor. But the town was not kind. Prejudice hung thick in the air. Men whispered words like savage. Women crossed the street when Nia passed, and Luke could feel the eyes that judged him every time they walked together. He ignored them, but Nia saw, and though her face remained calm, Her shoulders told the truth, stiff with the quiet pain of being unwelcome. One evening, as the sun sank into the horizon and the desert painted itself in red and gold, Luke found her standing at the edge of the property, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "They don't know you," he said quietly. "Not like I do." She didn't look at him, but her hand brushed his, brief, soft, but enough to steady him. Weeks turned into months, and what had begun as obligation turned into something deeper, unspoken but undeniable. Luke found himself searching for her in every quiet moment, in every rustle of the wind through the cottonwoods, in the glow of lantern light at night, under the endless western sky, their lives intertwined, not by chance, but by something older than both of them. Luke had fed a hungry child without thought, and in return, without even realizing it, he had been given a reason to stay.